We're going to continue, insha'Allah ta'ala, in Aqidah Ibn Asakir, the Guiding Creed. And there was a detail that I wanted to mention for you before we continue from where we left off. So just to go back to the beginning real quick here, the author says, may Allah have mercy upon him. خَلَقَ الْعَالَمَ بِأَسْرِهِ. He created the universe in its entirety. الْعُلْوِيَّ وَالسُّفْلِيَّ. The upper part and the lower part. وَالْعَرْشَ وَالْكُرْسِيَّ. And the arsh and the kursi. And those are exclusively part of the upper part. وَالسَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And the heavens and the earth. That's less than all of the universe. Heavens and earth. Because universe includes paradise and hell. And paradise and hell are outside of heavens and earth. وَمَا فِيهِمَا وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا. And whatever is in them and whatever is in between them. So there's something here. Where is the guarded tablet? Al-Lawhul Mahfuz. Some scholars said it's over the Arsh. Some scholars said it's under the Arsh. So there's no consensus about its exact location. If it's over the Arsh, then that makes two things over the Arsh. The guarded tablet and the book in which Allah wrote, had written, Inna rahmati sabaqat ghadabi. Indeed, my mercy precedes my wrath, or is dominant to my wrath. So that's the thing I wanted to give you, since we talked about that. And we've reached to where the author says, may Allah have mercy upon him, وَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. And the best names are his. So let's talk about that, insha'Allah ta'ala, tonight. The names of Allah ta'ala. Now, what I'm sharing with you, I'm not going to read it verbatim. I'm just going to use it as a template for myself. Yes. Well, that statement is the author's statement. Here, Allah ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Allah has the best and greatest names, so call him by them. That's in Surah Al-A'raf. I don't have the number of the ayah here, though. That's peculiar. So, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Allah has the best names, so call him by them. The best names, so, different people translate that in different ways. The most beautiful names, the perfect names, the names of perfection, etc. So the best names, that's very literal, because al-asma means the names and al-husna means the best. The word al-husna, that's feminine for ahsan. What does ahsan mean? It means better or best. So it's as if it's saying he has the better names or the best names. Verse 180, Barakallahu fikum. فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. So call him by them. All of his names, they are names of perfection. Their meanings are perfection. And none of his names have meaning of imperfection. So you should know that Allah Ta'ala has a name in every language. That's what we learned. And no matter what language the name of Allah is in, it has to be respected. Now, in our religion, though, where do the names of God come from? So firstly, the broadest answer is the revelation. And that's really the case. The prophets came with the names of Allah. But for us specifically, the names of God come from the revelation. And revelation includes the Quran and the Sunnah. It's just that the Quran is a revelation that must be memorized verbatim and said back exactly word for word, letter for letter. And the sunnah is revelation that can be conveyed by meaning. So we're going to get the names of Allah Ta'ala from the Quran and from authentic hadiths of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, there's four types of proofs in our religion: Quran, Sunnah, Ijma', consensus, and Qiyas. Qiyas is legal comparison. So from these four proofs, can names of Allah be taken from these? So Quran, Sunnah, Ijma', and Qiyas. So from Quran, yes, names of Allah are taken from the Quran. Sunnah, yes, names of Allah are taken from the Sunnah. Ijma', consensus, yes, names of Allah are taken from the consensus. Qiyas, scholars differed if there can be qiyas in the names of Allah Ta'ala. What we learned is the strong saying, and this is the position of Al-Ash'ari and Abu Mansur al-Baghdadi, the author of Al-Farqu Bayn al-Firaq, is that Asma'ullahi Ta'ala wa sifatuhu tawqifiyya. That means the names and attributes of God are discontinued. Discontinued means restricted to what came in the revelation, according to the proofs, Yani. So, okay, we'll see examples of names of Allah from the Quran, and if there's some from the Sunnah that are not in the Quran, we'll see if we have something here. And also the Ijma' consensus, we'll see, inshallah. And the Qiyas, we'll see if there's anything. Insha'Allah ta'ala. I'll try to make it brief though. But before I even go into there, so then it would be easier after this, what I just told you, for you to understand that Allah has more than 99 names. It's not right to say Allah only has 99 names. What's correct is to say Allah has 99 names. Those 99 names have a special merit, which is that if you memorize them and understand their meanings, then you are guaranteed to enter the garden. So that's going to be from the Sunnah, those 99 names. There are names of Allah in the Quran, there are names of Allah in the Sunnah, like in the 99 names. So, for example, this name of Allah, Al-Qadim, that's a name of Allah by consensus, without going into all these details here. And this name of Allah, Al-Awwal, that's a name of His by the Quran and by the Sunnah. And amongst the things that's important to know when it comes to the names of God is that Allah Ta'ala has descriptions. So these descriptions, they are names. That is, they are descriptive names. Not all names are descriptive names. Like if someone's name is Zaid, Zaid is the name of a man. That's not a description. But Jamil, for example, Jamil, this is a name. It means beautiful. So that's a descriptive name, actually. So, but sometimes when you say descriptive name or description, which would be a name, I'm not talking about the attribute. I'm not talking about power, knowledge, and will. Those are attributes. I'm talking about names like powerful and knowledgeable or knower. There are descriptions used for Allah Ta'ala, and these descriptions are in reality names. That's the type of word they are. But they're not names of Allah. So you need to understand this here. These names are not names of Allah. These are descriptions. Like what? Like Ka'in, that means being or existing or existence, means probably being is closest. That's not a verb. None of these are verbs here. And Mawjud, existent. So Ka'in is a name for describing someone who has being, existence. So he's a being, a Ka'in. And he's Mawjud, someone who has wujud, but that's not a name of his. And he is ma'bud, worshipped. And he is mutakallim, a speaker. This didn't come in the Quran as a name of Allah, al-mutakallim. Yes, the attribute of kalam, it came in the Quran actually by its wording taklim. Taklim means kalam, exactly. Taklim means kalam, like taslim means salam. Same thing. So he is mutakallim. But this didn't come as a name of his in the Quran or in the Sunnah. The scholars use this description for him. So that's not counted as giving him a name. And he is also madhkur. Madhkur means mention. Because don't we make dhikr? We say subhanallah, alhamdulillah. So Allah is madhkur. He is mentioned. So these adjectives or descriptions are sometimes called names. So you need to be able to, don't be very stiff in your reception of information. And he has other names and adjectives. So as-sani', for example, is it a name of Allah? Well, the Sunni theologians definitely use it to mean the maker. As-sani'. They use it frequently. It didn't come in the Quran, but there's, according to someone who would want to argue that you can use it, then they have some evidence that they could bring you. There's some evidence for that. There's some evidence from the Quran and from the Sunnah. But the wording itself, as-sani' didn't come in the Quran or the Sunnah. And there's some other words here that, insha'Allah ta'ala, we can go over them another time to stop on those details. I didn't want to go into all of this with you now. But I do want to go over with you the 99 names of Allah Ta'ala. And like we said, he has more than 99 names. No, the word as-sani' did not come in the Quran. That wording, that exact wording did not come in the Quran. Came in a hadith, Allahu sani'u kulli sani'. Allah is maker of every maker. Wa san'ati, and his making. Allah is maker of every maker and his making. Yani whatever that maker made. So the theologians call him as-sani', the maker. So Allah Ta'ala, he has 99 perfect names, 100 minus 1, like it came in the hadith. I already told you the merit of those 99 names. And I told you he has more than 99 names. Amongst them is Al-Kafi. Al-Kafi, that means the sufficient, or who is sufficient, the one who is enough. And also Al-Mughith, the rescuer, the one who helps. And as-subuh, as-subuh, that means the one who's far from imperfection. Like when you say Subhanallah, he has a name, as-subuh. And also he has a name, al-qayyam. That means al-qayyum. At-Tirmidhi narrated from Abu Hurairah that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu. الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير الحليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحصي المبدئ المعيد المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي البر التواب المنتقم العفو الرؤوف مالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الضار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور. So those are the 99 names of Allah according to that rendition. So we can cover whatever Allah makes easy for us here. So Allah, that's the greatest name of Allah Ta'ala. That is his proper name. Al-Alam. The proper name of God is Allah. It means the one who has Godhood. And Godhood is the power to create. Or Godhood means being entitled to worship. Or Godhood means the absolute independence. Ar-Rahman, so that means the merciful, or the one who's attributed with a lot of mercy, much mercy, because of the noon. The noon emphasizes, it makes the description more emphatic. It means Ar-Rahman means the one who's merciful to everyone in the world, believer and kafir. That's the extra meaning that Ar-Rahman has that Ar-Rahim doesn't have. Because Ar-Rahim doesn't mean the one who's merciful to the kafir. Ar-Rahim means the one who's merciful to the believers. So Ar-Rahman is the one who's merciful to everyone in this world. The one who's merciful to everyone in the world, because it includes kafir. Ar-Rahim is the one who's merciful to believers exclusively in the afterlife. Al-Malik, the sovereign. It means very literally the king. Maybe someone is not comfortable with that. The sovereign or the ruler who has complete dominion. Al-Malik. So there's no extension there. Not Malik. So if you want to use this name and call yourself Abdul Malik, Abdul Malik, there's no extension there. But that doesn't mean that Malik is not used for Allah. It is also. Al-Quddus. This means the one who's clear of imperfection. Many names of Allah mean that. So if we have standard statement, we're going to say this means the one who's clear of imperfection. It's just the question would be, how do the letters mean that? How is that significant to the letters themselves? So Al-Quddus, some people might translate it as holy, the one who's holy. What it means here is the one who is pure from imperfection. Or someone might translate it as pure, the pure one. As-Salam means the one who is sound. And sound means clear of every imperfection, clear of defects. Yes, inshallah. Yes, I can mention for you ones that aren't given to other than God. Allah is not used for other than God. Also, Ar-Rahman is not used for other than God. And also, Al-Quddus is not used for other than God. As-Salam, I just told you, means one who's sound. That means clear of imperfection. You're welcome. So someone might say, As-Salam means the peace. Allah is the peace. Tell them, don't say that. Maybe you don't even know what you are saying, because what is that even supposed to mean? Don't say that. Say Allah is As-Salam. That's one of his names. And As-Salam is one of his names, means the one who's clear of imperfection. So the attribute of Allah is called Al-Kamal. It has many names. His eternal, everlasting attribute is Al-Kamal, perfection. That's one of the attributes of his self. That attribute, we don't list it among the 13 attributes, but it is one of the attributes. Al-Kamal is one of the eternal, everlasting attributes of Allah, perfection. And Kamal of Allah Ta'ala is his attribute of Godhood itself. Godhood is an attribute of Allah. So he has many names that have this meaning of Kamal. Al-Mu'min. So Al-Mu'min has several interpretations. It comes from the letters Hamza, Mim, Noon. So what does that mean? These root letters have more than one meaning. Like, these root letters can be used for the word Amina. Amina means to be safe. Be safe. Then according to that, Al-Mu'min is the one who grants safety. This might come to your mind. Mu'min means believer. And has other ways of explanation too, has several ways of explanation. Al-Mu'min. So that's one of the names of Allah Ta'ala. Don't take a wrong understanding from there. Don't say it means the believer. What does that mean? Allah's names have to mean perfection. If you don't know what the name means, then just pause there. Don't depend merely on some translations you find. Understand the meaning of the name of Allah Ta'ala. If you don't conceive what it means, then stop there and ask Allah to grant you the knowledge. Might be that you don't know, what does this name mean? What does this attribute mean? What does this ayah mean? What does this hadith mean? I didn't understand yet. Just like we believe in istiwa, for example. What does it mean? Allah knows what it means. Some said this, some said that. So another time we can look further, because now I'm just trying to skim through them for you. Al-Muhaymin, the one who witnesses the sayings and the deeds of his creatures. So this one I'd like to study further. There are books that are dedicated or have at least chapters for the names of Allah. Al-Bayhaqi has some. Amongst his books is Al-Asma'u wa Sifat, the names and attributes. May Allah enable us to learn that book. Maybe I prayed for that in the past, so I can teach it to you. And he has another book called Al-I'tiqad. And I pray to Allah a lot to take this book. May Allah grant me that. Ameen. And this one has also in it the names and attributes. Very nice listing. And he has another book called Shu'abul Iman. And in that book, he has a section for the names of Allah. Outstanding work. Yani, outstanding. Very nice. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. That one there, may Allah enable me to have permission to give it to you. Ameen.
Ameen.
Al-Aziz. So these letters, Ain, Zay, Zay, they also have more than one meaning. So Aziz could mean in Arabic language rare, rare. Then if that's the significance of those letters, Al-Aziz means the one who doesn't have a partner, doesn't have a similar. Basically means one who's unique. And Aziz could mean, Al-Aziz for Allah could mean invincible. We have here the defeater who's not defeated. That's said in one word. Invincible, the invincible. Al-Jabbar, yes,
Sheikh, what does invincible mean?
means undefeatable.
Barakallahu.
Ameen wa fikum. Al-Jabbar, that's one of the names of Allah. The root letters are Jim, Ba, Ra. These root letters also have several meanings. Like Jabr and Ijbar, that means coercion or forcing. So according to that meaning we found right here, the one who nothing happens in his dominion except what he willed. But also Jabr could mean fixing, patching. So among the valid interpretations or amongst the documented interpretations of this name, Al-Jabbar is the one who fixes the situations of his slaves. One might call upon Allah by using these names of his and might have meaning in mind. One meaning or another in mind. You might say, yeah, Jabbar, and you have something in your heart when you call upon him. Al-Mutakabbir. So Al-Mutakabbir comes from the letters Kaf, Ba, Ra. Kaf, Ba, Ra have the meaning linguistically of bigness. So how's that significant for the name of God? For him, it means perfect. His greatness is his perfection. So he has the attribute of greatness, Azama. That's one of his attributes. And his greatness is his perfection. So I told you, his attribute of perfection has many names. So now you have three. Because I told you, Al-Kamal, and then I told you, Kamal means Uluhiyya, Godhood. That's two names for the same attribute. And also, Azama, Al-Azama, greatness. His greatness is his perfection, and his perfection is his godhood. Al-Mutakabbir, it means the one who is perfect, who is clear of imperfection. But for a creature, that would mean arrogant. So this name, when used for God, has the meaning of perfection, and when used for a creature, has meaning of imperfection. So just like there's names that you can only use them for Allah, you can't use them for the slave, and then there's also names you can only use them for the slave, you cannot use them for Allah. And then there's names you can use them for Allah, and you can use them for the slave, and they have meaning for each case, for each usage. And it could be that the one that's for the slave is imperfection, and the one that's for Allah is perfection, like here. Al-Khaliq, the Creator. This is a name that is special to God. It's not valid to call anyone Al-Khaliq besides God. The Creator means the one who brings things from non-existence into existence, from nothing into being. Al-Bari, it means also Al-Khaliq, the Creator. Al-Bari, there's a Hamza on the end. Al-Bari, it means Al-Khaliq, the Creator. So when you want to talk about what's created using the root letters for the first one, you'd say Makhluq. Makhluq, that's the created thing. If you want to talk about what's created using the letters of the second one, you'd say Bariyah, Al-Bariyah, Al-Musawwir. Al-Musawwir means the image creator. The image creator. Image creator. And if he is image creator, it means he doesn't have an image. So it has the meaning of creator. But because of its root letters, then we know it's significant to appearance, giving things appearance in particular, like as opposed to status, let's say, but giving it an appearance. And he is Al-Ghaffar. Al-Ghaffar. And also notice this string of names here. Al-Ghaffar, Al-Qahhar, Al-Wahhab, Al-Razzaq, Al-Fattah. Each one of them has a shadda there. You see the, you can hear the pattern. You can see it in the way it's transliterated too. Al-Ghaffar, Al-Qahhar, Al-Wahhab, Al-Razzaq, Al-Fattah. So just to remind you, when you say those names, pronounce them with proper pronunciation. And also when you are attempting to memorize the 99 names of Allah, remember that string of names there. You might need to take a breath when you want to say all of those. So Al-Ghaffar, Ghain, Fa, Ra means, those are the letters for forgiveness. So Al-Ghaffar means forgiver, but it's an amplified form. So where does it come from? What would it reduce to if you want to take the amplification out of it? It would reduce to Ghafir, Al-Ghafir, which is the name of one of the surahs, Surah Ghafir, forgiver. So Ghafir, forgiver. If you want to amplify it, one way you could out of many is Al-Ghaffar. So it still means forgiver, but it's amplified. Just like we talked about fa'il and fa'al. Fa'alun lima yurid. Doer, but it's amplified. Means doer of a lot or frequent doer. So Ghaffar means frequent forgiver or forgiver of a lot. Al-Qahhar, Qaf, Ha, Ra has the meaning of dominance, superiority, yani not just superiority, but conquering, subjugation. So that goes back to his attribute of power. And that's emphatic form. All of these, yani, get used to the patterns. Ghaffar, Qahhar, Wahhab, Razzaq, Fattah, Fa'al. That's emphatic form. So if you were to reduce that, Qahhar, it would become Qahir. And he is also Al-Qahir, is mentioned in the Quran. وَهُوَ الْقَاهِرُ فَوْقَ عِبَادِهِ. He is Al-Qahir over his slaves. Qahir, subduer or conqueror. Qahhar is also subduer or conqueror, but more emphatic. So it means subduer a lot or frequent subduer. Al-Wahhab means bestower, giver of gifts. Comes from wow, ha, ba. The hiba is a gift. So maybe you know a sister named Hiba. Al-Wahhab, it means gift giver, bestower, but frequently or a lot. Al-Razzaq, provider or sustainer, but a lot or frequently. So if you reduce it, becomes raziq. Al-Fattah means opener, but a lot or frequently. So it means the one who opens the closed worldly and religious matters for his slaves. So if you needed a situation opened for you, you might call Allah by this name. You might make dhikr, Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah. Maybe you would say, for example, I'm going to say Ya Fattah 1,000 times today and then make dua. Maybe Allah will open this for me, for example. Al-Alim means knowledgeable. This is also an emphatic form. Arabic has many emphatic forms, a number of them. So Al-Alim, if you reduce it, would be Alim, Al-Alim, knower. And it's valid to call Allah Al-Alim, the knower, and to call him Al-Alim, the knower or the knowledgeable, but more, very knowledgeable. Al-Qabid, Qaf, Ba, Bod, has the meaning of making a fist. Al-Qabd or Al-Qabdah is a fist or a clench. So the meaning is the constrictor, the one who makes things tight, the one who will withhold from you or from the creation whatever he willed out of his wisdom. As for miserliness, that's impossible. It's not out of a miserliness. That's impossible. That's an attribute of imperfection. It is out of wisdom. Allah knows that this money would harm you, for example, or not. Yeah, and he might know that this money will harm you, and then he holds it back from you. Or he might will for your rank to be raised, so he gives you poverty so that you can endure. Al-Basit, Basit means expander, one who widens, widener. This pattern, Qabil, Basit, that's the pattern of Fa'il. So that's your standard doer's pattern. Fa'il means doer, with no emphasis in it. So Allah is Qabil, and He's Basit, Al-Qabil, Al-Basit. And He is Al-Khafid, so same pattern. Al-Khafid means lowerer. This means the one who lowers whomever he wills by his destruction. So that's concerning one's status, not his image, for example. Ar-Rafi', raiser or elevator. It means the one who raises whomever he will by his endowment. Al-Mu'izz. Al-Mu'izz means honorer, the one who grants honor, the one who makes noble. So, nobility creator, honor creator, Al-Mu'izz, for whomever he wills. Al-Mudhil, degrader. So that means he is yani, a degradation creator, one who creates low status in whomever he wills. So our time's just about up. So I guess we made good. I always think I'm going to like finish everything in one session, all of that. So maybe we'll do like 2 or 3 more of these, or 1 or 2 more of these to finish all the names, and then continue in Aqidah Ibn Asakir. Do you have any question for me?
Sheikh, what was number 18?
18, Ar-Razzaq, provider, sustainer. The root letters of Al-Ghaffar, Ghain, Fa, Ra. He says so far there's only 4 names that I said exclusively for Allah. Let's double check. Allah is 1, Ar-Rahman is 2, Al-Quddus is 3, Al-Khaliq is 4, but I have them all gathered anyway down here. There are 12 names specific to him. Allah, Ar-Rahman, Al-Quddus, Al-Khaliq, Ar-Raziq, Malikul Mulk, Ar-Raziq, which is not one of the 99. Malikul Mulk, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, Al-Qayyum, Al-Muhyi, Al-Mumit, Al-Ilah, which is what is not one of the 99, and Ar-Rabb also is not one of the 99. And then the rest of the names could be used for other than God also. So 12 names. But we'll keep track of them anyway as we go, inshallah, just as review, so that the more we repeat it, the more we'll know it. Iznillahi ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
When you say exclusive name for him, are those the one that, like Al-Ghaffar, you have to use Abdul Ghaffar, Abdul Fattah? Are those...
So if it's exclusive to him, then yes. If you want to have that word in the name of someone, you need to put Abd. But Ghaffar is not one of them.
Oh, Ghaffar is not one of them?
No.
So you
Here,
can call...
all 12 of them are right here. I just listed them for you.
Okay.
Allah, Ar-Rahman, Al-Quddus, Al-Khaliq, Al-Raziq, Malikul Mulk, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, Al-Qayyum, Al-Muhyi, Al-Mumit, Al-Ilah, and Ar-Rabb.
Okay. All right. Okay. No problem. Barakallahu fiqh.
Ameen wa fiqh. You said, is it permissible to call someone Rahim? So I think you have your answer now, inshallah, which is yes, because it's not one of those names. He said, one more question, when they hear Madih, they say, Ya Salam. Yeah, so you missed the beginning. I'm just making sure. You missed the beginning, the one who's asking me this question. Al-Kafi, what's the question? He said, I memorized these when I was younger, but I think the meanings I was given weren't accurate. When attempting to memorize this way, do we need to explain them the way you do, or it's enough to give the general meaning? Well, Yani, so if you understand what I am explaining to you, then it means you're going to know the general meaning, because anyway, one name could be explained so many ways. And you're not even necessarily going to know all the tafsirs maybe for all these names. So you're going to know what these names mean. Each name, each one, you go one by one. What does this one mean? What does this one mean? If you come by one, you don't know what it means, then go learn it so you know what it means. Then you get the meaning of all the 99 names. Okay, so I'll answer your question though. Because we said salam. So it's just going to mean what I already told you. When you hear Madih, they say, Ya salam. Do they mean the name of God? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me apologize. I didn't really see your question properly. Yes. I thought you were asking me, what does it mean as the name of God? Yes. Ya salam. They mean God. Yes, that's correct. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't have too bad of an attitude with you. He said, my 7-year-old was talking to me this morning asking about the attributes of Allah. And he mentioned that the names of Allah are his attributes as well. Is that correct? Yes, except the name Allah. The name of Allah is not his attribute. But the other names, you can call them his attributes. Ameen wa fiq.
Sheikh, what does it mean the names are of two categories?
One category is names that you can only use for Allah. The other category is names that you can use for Allah and for others.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. He says, so simply memorizing, for example, Al-Malik, this is enough to satisfy the benefit of being granted paradise. Well, just do what does the Prophet say. The Prophet said, memorize it and understand its meaning. So if you understand the meaning, then you did it. If you didn't understand the meaning, then you didn't do it. If you're asking me, can I just grab somebody's translation? That's good enough? Yeah. I wouldn't say so. That's not what the Prophet said. He said to understand the meaning. No, we won't go over the 99 names of Allah by Imam Al-Ghazali. Subhanallah. And just to remind you, why are we hearing these 99 names? Because we're going over Aqidah Ibn Asakir. And he said, وَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. He has the perfect names. So then to clarify what the statement means, that's what we're reading now.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I'm sorry
Wa
about that.
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. No problem.
I was looking for what I asked you, but I don't see it anymore. I was asking you something about Allah's mercy and His wrath.
Yes.
Now, can you explain that again, please?
Yes. So when we started the lesson, I wanted to give you a detail that I didn't mention for you the past couple of lessons in this book. Because we talked about heavens and earth and Arsh and Kursi and all of what we said. So I wanted to also add for you, what about the guarded tablet? So where is it? Guarded tablet is either over the Arsh or under the Arsh. So the scholars didn't agree. And if it is over the Arsh, then that makes two things over the Arsh. One of them is a book. So one of them is the guarded tablet, and one of them is a book that's over the Arsh. This book has something written in it. Inna rahmati sabaqat ghadabi. Surely my mercy precedes my wrath. Or it means my mercy outdoes my wrath. That means the signs of my mercy are more than the signs, or the traces of my mercy are more than the traces of my torture.
Okay, I got that. Now, I was asking you, was that in the Quran or was that
That's from a hadith.
hadith? Okay.
We
That's
learned about that when we in As-Siratul Mustaqim. Yeah, because if you remember, we talked about what if someone says, no, folk over means under. The Arsh, the book was raised under the Arsh. How would it be raised under the Arsh? Should be raised over the Arsh. Raised over. You don't say raised under. So if you remember when we talked about that, that's the same book. Because the Wahhabis, they say Allah is over the Arsh. So we tell them, how are you going to say Allah is over the Arsh? There's a book over the Arsh. Prophet said the book is raised over the Arsh. You said Allah rose over the Arsh. So they're going to say, no, means it's rose under the Arsh. So how is going to be rose under the Arsh? Doesn't even make sense. I don't have videos in Aqidatul Awam, but if Allah will, we'll get to it. Yani, because here, this file I'm reading to you that has Aqidah Ibn Asakir, I think I showed you before, has in it, where are you? There it is. Aqidatul Awam, still under construction though. So inshallah ta'ala, make dua for me. Perhaps I'll have it done for you and ready to go.